Alright, hey guys, my name's CJ, and today I'm playing a game called Kuon for the PS2. Alright, now, this is probably... Okay, wait, hang on. I can't... I cannot talk while those voices are singing. Alright, now back to what I was saying. So this game is probably one of the rarest horror games I've ever seen in my life. I hadn't heard about this game at all until just a few months ago. I was browsing around on some forums and stuff of some obscure horror games that people have played, and I was just looking for like lists of horror games that were on the PS2 that I could play. Because I was looking for some nostalgia and stuff, and some new horror games and stuff. And I came across a list of sort of forgotten and obscure and just strange, not very well known PS2 horror games. And on that list was this game. And it piqued my interest a little bit because the front cover was pretty interesting. And the art style reminded me a lot of Project Zero. Like the design of the buildings and the environments and some of the monsters and stuff. It's very, very reminiscent of Project Zero. And that sort of piqued my interest a little bit because I'm a huge fan of the Project Zero franchise. I think it's probably one of the best horror game franchises ever to exist. You know, and I feel like this game really nails atmosphere and stuff. But before I get into that, I'll speak about the game a bit more in depth a bit later. I want to talk about the history of this game. So this game came out back in 2004, I believe, and it was released in Japan in 2004, and then in America and Europe and other places, I think in 2006. Okay, actually, it was released on April Fool's Day in Japan in 2004. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And from what I've read, because I did a lot of reading up on this game, because it interested me a lot. And from what I've read, it seems that the developers of this game based the story of this game on an ancient Japanese horror story called Kwaidan, or something like that. Not entirely sure, because that doesn't really sound Japanese to me. Like the kwai part doesn't sound Japanese to me. But in any event, it was said it was based on some kind of scary story from the Heian era of Japan. And actually, this game is set in the Heian era of Japan. And this game, because it was on a forgotten PS2 game list, it's pretty self-explanatory that this game isn't very well known. It's like I said, it was pretty rare, and nobody knows about this game. Almost nobody knows about this game, and it's sort of become a rare collector's item for some people. And let me tell you something, this game is fucking hard to find. And not just that, it is flippin' expensive, bro. This game will run you a good $100 or close to, actually, no. I'm probably lying through my teeth right now. It probably costs even more than that. Fucking hell, bro. It's crazy expensive. Just know that. I don't know the exact price that this thing goes for. You can't buy it new. You gotta buy it secondhand. But people are selling this shit for insane amounts of money because it is just that rare and that's sought after. And I can sort of understand why, but at the same time I can't. Because while this game, it's interesting and obscure, but it's not that good of a game. Okay. But also, in saying that, this is probably one of my favorite horror games of all time. Okay. It's just, I'm sort of 50-50 on this, and I'll get to why I say that a little bit later on. But yeah, people are really, like, they really tried to get this game, to get their hands on this game. And for me, it took a while to find this game. And, I don't know what to say if it was worth it. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. But yeah, anyway, I don't know if I should say it was worth it or not, because, look, I enjoyed this game, but I don't think it's worth how much people are selling it for. You know, it's a ridiculous price. You know, there's not really much else to say. I can't really explain why I think that way. You know, it's just, I don't feel this game has enough in it to warrant that kind of pricing. You know, other than the fact that it's just really rare. You know, but yeah, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. But this game, you know, I feel like it lacks in many areas. Okay, it's not very good in many aspects. Okay, first and foremost, I will say the voice acting is atrocious. All right, let's just get it out the way. Okay, if you guys have been on my channel for a while, you know that I take voice acting in a lot of the games that I play very seriously, and if it's good, it makes the game. If it's terrible, it breaks the game immediately for me. Although in some rare cases where I just love the game. But this game here is no exception, okay? Don't get me wrong, I love this game, it's awesome, but the voice acting is complete and utter shite. Alright, it is terrible, absolutely fucking atrocious, alright? But there is an upside. I don't know if you can actually call this an upside, but I originally planned on playing this game in Japanese because it was made by a Japanese team, okay? And the thing is, if you guys have seen any kind of anime before in your life, usually the original Japanese dub is better than the English dub. Usually, 9 times out of 10, that's always the case, because the Japanese take their voice acting very seriously. And when I watch anime, I always like to watch it in sub. Okay, I don't like watching it in English dub at all. There are a few exceptions, but in terms of majority of anime that I watch, it's usually always in Japanese. Okay, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna play this game through in Japanese to see how it goes, and I'll play through again in English, see how that goes, and decide how I want to do a walkthrough of this game and like in which language. But let me tell you something, okay? After making the decision, I started the game, and then I went about playing the first, like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 17 minutes. I had to switch the game off because it blew my mind how bad the voice acting was for the Japanese version. It was mind-blowing. I was gobsmacked. I could not believe what I was watching, okay? It was insane. It was so insane. I actually told my brother and my dad about it because we all watch anime, and I was like, "Have you ever seen like bad voice acting in Japanese before? Well, let me show you something." It was insane, all right? Complete and utter ridiculousness, all right? It was so bad. I couldn't take it seriously, okay? And I couldn't focus on the game because my mind kept going back to just how atrocious it all was. It was just it was it was terrible. All right. Anyway, so I changed it to English. It was still terrible, but it was a lot more bearable than the Japanese version. Oh my fucking goodness. It was leagues better than the Japanese version. Okay. But that's about the only bad thing about this game. There are a few things that are annoying. Not as they're more annoying than they are bad, if I can put it that way. You know, they're not game breaking, but they are pretty annoying, and that's the combat. The combat in this game is shocking, but I'll talk about that when we get to playing the game. But yeah, so this game's got pretty good music and pretty decent sound effects. I actually find the sound effects hilarious, to be honest. Like the sound effects for some of the monsters in this game really make me laugh. Okay, Um, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I should say before moving on to the ins and outs of the game. Um, but yeah, I guess I could say something like why this game isn't so popular. I did some reading up. They said it was about limited sales, wasn't doing very well in Japan, and then it wasn't doing very well in the Western world either. So that's why they stopped producing the game, and so on and so forth. And it's actually very surprising because this is something else that I want to just touch up on. And I'll speak about it right here. Because this sort of follows into why it's so surprising this game didn't do as well as it did. Because this game was actually developed by FromSoftware. And if you don't know FromSoftware, they are the same people who made Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and Bloodborne and Demon Souls and so on and so forth. And those games are very, very, very popular, very successful games, and fucking awesome, mind you. I'm definitely gonna at a stage do a walkthrough of a few Soulsborne games because I love them. Okay. Anyway, so that alone in itself was surprising. When I read up about this game and found out that it was developed by FromSoftware, I was genuinely shocked. Like there was I'm a huge fan of FromSoftware, and the fact that there was a game from them that I didn't know about was really shocking to me. And basically, as soon as I saw that it was developed by FromSoftware, I deep dived into this game and its history as much as I possibly could. Okay, it's not very interesting. There's not a lot of information about this game, to be honest. A lot of it is just the same sort of stuff you see around, anyways. But otherwise, the history of this game isn't all that exciting. And yeah. So, what else should I talk about with regards to this game? Okay, let me talk about the story now of this game, okay? And why I'm sort of on the fence with this game. So, as I said in the beginning, this game is, I would say, loosely based on a sort of ancient Japanese horror story sort of thing. I don't know. And that's about the only good thing about the story of this game. It's very fucked up, okay? I will say this game messes with your head, okay? I would say it's just gross. Like no joke, it's like it's sort of stomach turning, the contents of this game, like what you see and like the things that get told to you, and yeah, it's stomach turning fucking grossness. It's really mind boggling how people can think up this kind of shit, but I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I suppose it's good in terms of like horror aspect because it's not something that you see in many kinds of horror stories. Well, certainly not something that I've seen in any kind of horror story that I've read or listened to, or horror game that I've played, or horror movie that I've watched, or anything like that. It was certainly a unique twist on horror, and it sort of reiterates just how brilliant the Japanese people are at making horror games and horror in general, But yeah, in terms of the overall story, in conjunction with the game, I feel like the beginning was okay. The middle of the game was sort of the best part, but then the ending was absolute shit. Okay, the ending was I felt the ending was rushed. Things weren't explained properly. So by the end of the game, I was thinking, what the hell's going on? Who is this person? Why is she here? Why does she have this? And why is she going to attack this person? Why doesn't she make this decision? Why is she just, it was so confusing, and then when the credits rolled, it was just such a short epilogue and with like no other details given, nothing. I was like, huh? those are my honest thoughts when the credits rolled. Okay, so I feel like the ending was very rushed. The story wasn't well put together, in my opinion. That's why I'm sort of on the fence with this game. Okay, other than that, the reason why I love this game so much is because the art style is fantastic. The art style, the sound design, the creature design, everything. It's just so good. Okay, it is brilliant. But other than that, the only thing about the story that I like is that it's creepy. Okay, it's awesome. It's creepy. It's just grotesque. You know, it's how I imagine horror when I hear the word horror. You know, but that's where it stops. You know, other than that, the story is atrocious. It starts too abruptly, with no explanation, and ends way too abruptly with no explanation. Okay, that's the simplest way I can put it for you guys. Okay, and you'll see. You'll see for yourselves once we get playing, and once we finish the game. You'll see what I mean. Okay, and I also mentioned music as well, but to be honest, there's barely any music in this game, like barely any. The only music that you hear is the main menu theme, sort of in cutscenes. Maybe when you're getting attacked by an enemy or two, and the ending credits, and that's it. Oh yeah, and there's a other thing that you can unlock in this game that has pretty good music as well. But I'll speak about that when it's necessary to explain it. Okay. But otherwise, I think that's all I wanted to say about this game. Sorry, the story. There's more to talk about with this game. In terms of difficulty, this game, it sort of depends on how you play, okay, and how much of a veteran you are at playing these types of games, you know. And when I first started playing this game, I found this game to be difficult to get into. You know, I found it to be, annoying to control the characters and move around and stuff. But once I got used to it, it was very easy. Like no joke, it wasn't stressful at all. It was irritating, sure, but I don't think it's hard or difficult in any kind of way. You know, so let me put this into perspective, okay? When I started playing the game, I put it on the easy difficulty, the normal difficulty that you get, okay? I put it on that. I think I played through about maybe the first 20 minutes to hour of the game, and I was like, nah, and I put it on hardest difficulty. Now, I'll talk about the differences between the easy difficulty and the hardest difficulty when we get playing. But I just found the game, once I was able to play the game proficiently or sufficiently enough, I didn't find it a hassle at all, okay? But, like I said, I'll get into talking about that when we get playing. And yeah, the combat is not good. Combat's not good in this game. And I think that's probably one of the things that really puts this game off for me. And for a lot of people as well. And why people give this game a pretty low rating, because the combat is fucking terrible. Okay, there's no other way to put it. It's ass. Alright, there have been many times where I've died to just straight bullshit because the combat is just so terrible. Okay. But, I'm not going to sit here and go on a whole rant for like the next half an hour. I think I've spoken enough about what's going on in this game. So let me just go through the settings here. So sound, yeah, I don't care. Music is full. Sound effects are full. Voice is full. Brightness, I'm going to bump that up a few notches because this game is really dark, okay? There were points where I was playing this for the first few times where I was squinting my eyes trying to see if I could see anything, and literally it was so dark I couldn't even see like a meter ahead of me. It's ridiculous, okay? Vibration, that doesn't really work at all. I don't feel any vibration on my controller when anything happens, so that's that. Controller type A. I don't know what this is. I haven't changed it, so I'm going to leave it there. Language, yep. So change. Cool. Okay. Now you can see here, begin, load, settings, that's all you get, alright? Now, there is another minigame that you can unlock within this, okay? But, again, like I said, I will speak about that a bit more in depth when we get up to acquiring the necessary things to unlock said minigame, okay? But you can unlock it and it will appear in between load and settings over here, okay? But, let's go ahead and get this started. Now, as you can see here, you can start with yin phase or yang phase, okay? Now, the characters you play as in this game are these two chicks over here, okay? So this here is Utsuki, and this is Sakuya, alright? Now, Utsuki, I feel, is the main character of this game, okay? In terms of who I prefer playing as, I think, actually, Sakuya I prefer playing as. I feel like she's a bit faster than Utsuki, but I don't know, I haven't really, I've done a few playthroughs of this game, but not enough to really notice the difference between these two, but I do prefer playing as Sakuya, although in some other aspects, Utsuki is definitely better. She's quiet, as opposed to her. Anyway, so we're going to start this off with yin phase, then we're going to go into yang phase, and then there is a third phase to unlock after you beat both these phases, called the Kuon phase. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this started. Now, these are the difficulties as well. So this is the easy mode, this is insomnia, which is, so daydream, insomnia, nightmare. This is easy, this is normal, this is hard, okay? When I first played this game, I put it on insomnia, and then I bumped it up to nightmare, okay? So that's what I'll be playing it. That's how I'll be playing this game for you guys during this walkthrough, is on nightmare difficulty. Because I feel like I owe it to you guys to play something on the hardest difficulty, So we'll go ahead and confirm. Yes. Okay, I feel like brightness is good where it is. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's do this. Dear Utsuki, I have been summoned by the Lord, who resides in the manor. I shall be gone for a time. The Lord is acquiring my prayers and skills. He is convinced that his manor is cursed. I believe he has an overly vivid imagination. Most likely he saw a rat and mistook it for a creature of the other world. At least that is what I think. I shouldn't be away for very long, but take care of the shrine in my absence. You must not forget to take care of the silkworms. Also, I am worried about Kureha's health. Please watch over her.
This seal, the silk, how? Do you really think Father is here, in this place?
Yes, I'm sure of it. If we ask someone, I am sure we'll find out where he is.
Wait. There's something strange about this place.
Don't worry. Utsuki, come on, let's go.
What happened? You need to be careful.
It's nothing serious. Don't worry about this. There is someone over there. Wait, I'll go see. Please stay here until I get back.
Alright, so here we go. The game is starting. Or has started. What the fuck am I saying? Alright, so let me just, before I say anything, go into detail about the controls, okay? So you can move with the analog stick or with the D-pad, okay? Moving with the D-pad is... I wouldn't say it's better. Okay, it might actually be better, but I still prefer using the analog stick because I'm used to it. But yeah, if you're gonna play this game through for the first time, I recommend using the D-pad. Might be a bit better. Okay. So, you know, this is your normal walking pace, and if you want to run, you gotta press and hold circle, and you run like that. I don't think stamina is a big thing. I think if you run long enough, you will start losing health. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't run that long before in this game. But you sort of know when you're out of stamina. You'll hear like a heartbeat in the background, okay? But that's about it. I haven't, you know, died to overrunning before, you know. So I don't think there's really something to worry about, okay? Now, in terms of combat, it gets a bit more... I wouldn't say in-depth, you know, because it's really not that deep. But right now you can see we have nothing equipped. Okay, if I press select, you can open up this menu here. So you got equipment, item, writings, maps, settings, and quit. Okay. Now, equipment. So equipment, card and weapon selection. Fuck's sake. When triangle or square is equipped with a card, you can use it at any time by pressing a button, or pressing the button. When a button not assigned to a card is pressed, a standard weapon attack is performed. Okay, now, you can see there we have an inventory, okay, an inventory, and it is currently empty. Alright, now, you don't got to worry about inventory space. That doesn't exist in this game, okay? You can pick up as many things as you want. I don't know where your characters put these things because there's no pockets, but in any event, you can carry as many things as you want in this game. Okay, so you don't have to worry about inventory space. But to assign things, you press X. Okay, there are currently no cards. Cards get equipped over here by square and triangle. Okay, and if there's no cards equipped in any of these, then you'll use the weapon that's been assigned to this thing here. Okay, like you can't actually assign your weapon, your melee weapon, to any of these buttons here. It will automatically come out when you press one of these buttons if they are unassigned to a card. Okay, if there's no card assigned to them when you press any one of these buttons, then you will do an attack with your melee weapon. Alright? Does that make sense? I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. So just give you an example. So if I press now, square or triangle right now, either one of these will perform a melee attack. But if I get a spell card and equip it to, say, square, and I press square, I will do an attack with the card. But if I press triangle, I will then do an attack with my melee weapon. But if I had both buttons equipped for a card, then I wouldn't be able to use my melee weapon. Okay? Now, let me get out for a second, okay? Before I continue with that. So if I press triangle or square, you can bring out the knife or your melee weapon. For Utsuki, it's a knife, okay? Now the thing is, you can't just bring it out, okay? If you press either of these buttons, triangle, Utsuki, she immediately does an attack, okay? And this is the same thing for Sakuya. She'll do it as well, and the same thing for Seimei, who you play as at the end of the game, alright? Now, that's not really an important thing to note. I just thought I'd mention that as well, because you're sort of vulnerable. So in between attacks, you are quite vulnerable to other enemies as well. Okay, their attacks and everything, and they are quite annoying. Okay, and that's also one of the things that I find really unfair about the combat in this game, is that you cannot. So let's say you want to do a no-hit run of this game. It is impossible. All right, there is no way anybody can do a no-hit run of this game, because there's always going to be a window of every third hit where an enemy will get an attack in on you. Okay. Also, the hitboxes are a bit fucking weird in this game. Okay, like so say now an enemy is sort of standing by this lamp. Okay, and there's a path to my left here, and I'm trying to run through that path. If the enemy is right here, I will not be able to get through this gap. Okay, I have to run this way, wait for the thing to move, then run around it, and then go through. Okay, it's very weird, and 9 times out of 10, as soon as you run past an enemy, they will attack you immediately. Okay, and the enemies are usually faster than you when you start off running as well, because as you can see, your character just fucking stops dead, like just mid animation. They'll stop and turn around like that. If you do too sharp a turn, I don't know why I can't speak. If you do too sharp a turn, they'll stop and just turn around, and then carry on running. It is infuriating when you're playing this game. Trust me. Okay. So just keep note of that. Okay. Now, performing attacks in this game is fucking weird. I don't know what it is. I'm getting very angry already talking about the combat. Okay. Sometimes your attacks hit, sometimes they don't. That's the best way I can put it. Okay. You press triangle to do an attack. Okay. If you press triangle twice, very specifically, like buffering your inputs, you'll do a 2-hit combo. So they didn't work. That didn't work again. That didn't work again. Okay, it's not working. Okay, so for some reason here, for Utsuki, you have to fucking... Hang on. Okay, so at the very end of her swipe, press it again. Like just before the animation finishes, press the button again and she'll do a 2-hit combo. It is infuriating to get that timing down correctly, okay? And it's the same thing playing as Sakuya, and the same thing playing as Seimei. It is so annoying, okay? And 9 times out of 10, this second attack doesn't even hit the enemies. Alright, you're far better off just going like this, because the thing is, when you do this as Utsuki, she sort of steps back a little bit as well. Okay? So yeah. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe the fighting, but that's how it is. It's frustrating, but I feel like once you get the hang of it, it is sort of easier in a way. Okay. Now, breaking away from the controls for a second, this game is really creepy. I don't know if you've noticed, but as I've been walking around here, there's that... If you look in the top right corner of the screen there's a ghost over there, okay, or a dude. Alright, if I do this, see how he just sort of goes back and forth? Like just look how creepy that is, and he runs away. Okay? You'll see a lot of that kind of shit playing throughout this game, and I feel like that really adds to the creep factor of this game. And it is fantastic. Alright? The random jump scares and spooks and creepy shit you see in the background really add to the horror of this game, and it is brilliant. That's one of the things that I really love about this game. Okay. Now, if you press X, it'll interact with things. So press X over here. The corpse's clothing is soiled and emits a foul odor. That is fucking disgusting. But over here, there is dust. Healing herbs crushed into powder form. Okay. These are sort of your health items. You find dust, and you find it. They're called elixirs. and they basically restore health. The dust restores your health partially. The elixirs restore your health fully. Now keep in mind there is no health bar in this game, so no matter what you do, if you press start here, if you press select here to go into equipment, item, whatever, you cannot find a health bar. How you know if your health is low, the screen will start to go blurry and sort of start spinning as well. And it's very difficult to control your character that way. You can't use any spells. So it's the most inconvenient and dangerous situation you can be in this game, okay? And it's called Vertigo. And as we get progressing up ahead, it will explain it to us a little bit. But the nice thing is when you have Vertigo, you don't need to, or like when you're on low health, which is what Vertigo is, you won't need to take any health items unless you are currently in a situation where you're fighting an enemy. Okay, so you're fighting an enemy, you will not have time to heal yourself while fighting the enemy. Okay, so it's wiser to take a health item and then kill the enemy, then go ahead and heal yourself. All right. And how you do that, how you heal yourself is by pressing R1, okay? If I press R1, you press and hold R1, and you can meditate. Physical and mental energy are renewed, and vertigo is relieved through meditation. Meditation requires complete concentration, and summoned servants will be dismissed. This is a very important thing, okay? So if you like to use summons in this game, be careful, okay? Keep note of what this is telling you here, because if you have a summon active and you have low health, you cannot have that summon attacking an enemy while you are meditating, okay? Because the summon cards require focus to stay there, and meditation requires complete focus on your part. This is all automatic, by the way. You don't need to worry about this. The game does it for you. It's nothing. I'm just sort of giving you an example why it would do this, okay? So once you, basically the minute you press R1, the second you press R1, the moment that input is registered, your summon will disappear, okay? It will die, and you will lose the card and stuff. Actually, no, I don't think it will. I think basically what happens is you keep the card, but I think it dies faster next time. I'm not entirely sure, because I don't use summons very much in this game, to be honest. I don't really. I prefer using sort of distancing spells, if that makes sense. Okay, so she'll do that. Okay, it's not doing it right now. So even if I hold it in, she'll still do a sort of small head bow, and then that's it. It'll really come into effect when we start taking more damage and start fighting, okay? Right, I think I've spoken enough about things in the beginning of this game. Anything else I can speak about as we get playing? So we'll go up here. So there, Tempest. Some areas have a large amount of negative energy. This includes revenge, murder, grudges. If too much has been accumulated, then a tempest of negativity may occur. If a tempest is encountered while running, you may experience vertigo. Now, this is actually a very important thing, okay? Because in many cases, when you're playing this game, if you run in an area and you encounter a tempest and you get vertigo, then a shitload of enemies will spawn, okay? And that's happened to me quite a few times, and it's pissed me off, alright? So that's a very important thing to take note of, okay? And even sometimes you can get vertigo just by walking, but that sort of only happens when you, how can I say, when you sort of experience something in the game. I don't quite know how to explain that. It's sort of things that have to happen, you know, to add to the experience of the game. But when you're running and there's a tempest nearby, then to trigger it, you'll have to run through it. You can't see the tempest, so just keep note of that. You can't see it. You don't know when it's going to be or where it's going to be unless you've played the game through before, alright? Vertigo is a disordered state of confusion and movement when one encounters a tempest while running or is weak. While experiencing vertigo, cards of any kind are unusable. Also a very important thing. So if you're low on health, you cannot use cards. Vertigo is when you're low on health, okay? You cannot use any kind of cards at all. And when you are doing your swipes with your melee weapon while in vertigo, it's difficult. And the enemies can dodge your attacks. They have done that to me before. I don't know if it's Dinkum, but there have been many times where the enemies have dodged my attacks whilst I'm in vertigo and I've tried to attack. So it's going to look like this. Now this is what it looks like when you have low health, okay? And then to heal yourself, you just hold R1. And then when you've reached full health, you will automatically stop, okay? So we'll progress up here and we'll get a cutscene.
Where did this come from?
Alright, so we just met up with Kureha there. I don't know why she's there, but yeah, I think this is actually the last time we see her during this part of the game. You know, something that I wanted to mention that really caught me off guard, or actually not really caught me off guard, but sort of irritated me, is the pronunciations of the names and just some of the stuff in this game. I understand, you know, the era in which this game came out. You know, people weren't pronouncing things correctly. You know, communication wasn't done between the dubbing teams and the original teams. So things sort of got lost in translation and people just pronounced things the way they wanted to pronounce them. I understand that. But, you know, that doesn't make it any less bothering, you know. So she says her name is Korea, which is wrong. It's Kureha. Kureha. Okay? So yeah, that's just something that irritated me a little bit. Okay? So in terms of running in this game, I don't find myself running too often. Okay? If I know, you know, there's some kind of suspense in some areas of the game, I will pretty much just always walk. Normally I'll walk, but, you know, sometimes I feel like running. Okay? And it has these sort of loading areas as well, so now here I'm gonna walk, and we'll come to this tree over here. Let's have a look at this tree. The mulberry tree is illuminated from below. You can see there are holes in the tree as well. There are 3 large holes in the tree's trunk. Alright. We'll pick up this. Metal spike, a demon suppressing spike. We'll find a few of these throughout the game. So the first one, I think we find 3 here. And pick this up. Silkworm disc, wooden disc decorated with silkworm carving. We do need this, so this is an item that's essential. Blood oozing from the wound has soaked the ground. Interesting. Okay, I won't go there just yet. I want to just show you something. So, one of the things that makes this game pretty difficult is saving, okay? You will barely ever find a save point in this game. The first few times I played this game, I found it very frustrating. When you die, you got to start all the way from the beginning, okay? If you don't save, that is. So, the first few times I didn't know what saving was like in this game. I actually thought there was no saving, to be honest. So, yeah. This would be a good place to cleanse oneself. So here we go, saving data. After investigation of the lamp and rock located on the shore is complete, you may save your game data. A vessel is required in order to save game data. Okay? So, what I didn't know as well, I thought you had to go up to one of these rocks here to save the game, okay? But you got to go right to the edge of the water. Okay? So you can perform the cleansing ritual now, but I don't think we have a vessel. So if I go into item over here, I know what we do, okay. So if I go into, item over here, you can view an inventory of all the items you have obtained. Various items can be used, including ones that restore health. Okay, so here's our dust. Sacred cloth, earth, bloodstained cloth, removes seal, earth. You'll find a few of these, quite a few of these actually throughout the game. Different seals unlock different cloths unlock different seals corresponding with the names that they have. And these are the vessels, okay? They're like little origami boats, okay? And you'll find a few of these throughout the game. And there's our silkworm disc. And our metal spike as well. Don't think there's anything else, yeah. Okay. So you can interact here and do a cleansing ritual, and she'll sort of put the boats on the water, and that's how you save the game. Won't do anything like that just yet. For now, we'll go this way, and I'll sort of walk. This doesn't really matter if you walk here or not. Actually, wait, before I go that way. Sorry, I just want to see something. Okay, no, we can't go that way just yet. Yeah, you know, I've played this game through a few times, but it's still a bit confusing, the layout of this game. Like, it's difficult to find out where you can and can't go, alright? Now, we're gonna have to interact with this thing over here, because you can see there's a thing flashing, but have a look at that thing in the background, okay? You can see there's some sort of small creature chowing a dead body over there, okay? And those are sort of, you could say, the main enemy type that you'll encounter throughout the game, okay? It's the first one we get introduced to, and it's the main one you'll find. They're also the weakest one. Sort of, okay? You'll find ghosts as well, and there are different types of ghosts, but the weakest ghosts go down in one hit, okay? These fuckers go down in a few hits, and they're pretty annoying, okay? Now, to get its attention, you can run, but if you don't want to get its attention, just walk. But for this one here, you know, that's bullshit, because okay, let me just pick up this thing here. So interact with this thing. There is something in the shrine. Do you want to get it? Yes. Map of the manor. Okay. Scroll Survival 1. Unsigned scroll. We'll have a read of it. Basic survival. Do not run. Be as quiet as possible. If you make any noise, a gaki will detect your presence. Now, there's a few things to say about that. Okay, firstly, this is bullshit, alright? When it says do not run, because it will make noise and stuff, it's talking nonsense, alright? The monsters in this game, especially a gaki, they will hear you no matter what you do, okay? They can see you, they will hear you no matter where you are, no matter what you do, they will hear you, okay? If you come out of a door, and they're standing behind the door, they will get you as soon as you come out that door, okay? So this here, ignore it, okay? It doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything, it means fuck all, just ignore it, okay? And the second thing I wanted to say about this is, when I first played this game, I couldn't help but laugh my ass off when I read what this monster was called, okay? This creature over here is called a gaki, okay? Now, a gaki in Japanese means like, means brat, okay? That's what gaki means, alright? So, I just found that hilarious. They called this thing a gaki, a brat, okay? But in actual fact, this thing is actually a fucking brat. It sounds like a brat. It's very irritating. So, when this thing does this, mash the absolute fuck out of square or X. Come on. Okay, because if you don't, you can get hit. And it doesn't take much to die in this game. These things take a beating to go down. Get off me. When it makes that noise, you've killed it. Okay. Now, I don't think I took any damage there. No, I didn't. See, you'll only take damage if the gaki bites you. Okay. If you're fast enough at mashing square or X, which is struggling. If you struggle fast enough, then you can avoid any damage of the the Gaki, okay? But the thing is, sometimes a Gaki can swipe you, and that can take damage off you as well, okay? It's pretty annoying. Alright, so now that he's taken care of, we can move over to the side, to the spring area. Now have a look at that, you see that? You'll see a lot of... Okay, so you'll see those twins a lot throughout this game, okay? They're fucking annoying. The corpse is drenched in blood. Great description there. The water glimmers and chases after the light. The light illuminates the muddy water, providing a different view. Is that all that says about that? Yeah. Alright. Okay, so I don't think there's anything here. No. Alright, so we'll head across this bridge over here. Okay, so we need to find 3 wooden discs. So we've got the first one. Okay, and as you can hear, that song is playing again. Now, I like that song, but the thing is, it sort of gets very annoying and monotonous and just irritating in general. Okay, because you hear it quite a lot, and whenever you hear that, there's always some kind of shit that's gonna go down. Okay. And before I go there, I just want to show you guys the area. It's pretty creepy, to be honest. So we'll go down here first. Have a look at that. Okay, something fell from the sky, I guess, and I, tried to see what it was. The first time this happened to me, it scared the shit out of me. And it's a purple-covered book, emitting a foul odor. All right, purple-covered book. The residents of the manor are disappearing, and not one of them have returned alive. Sometimes their corpses are discovered, and they are always horrible to behold. Some of them were killed with bamboo spears. Others were discovered under the eaves, but were unrecognizable. Only bits of their flesh remained. I too may suffer the same fate. The corpse's face has been gouged out. It's unrecognizable. That's a lovely description. A corpse's face has been gouged out. Not even its eyes, just its face in general has been gouged out. It appears to have been pecked at. Like by birds? There are purplish spots covering the corpse. It's decomposing. Yeah, it's dead. Okay, nothing else? Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. We can go over here as well. This will just take us to the same place we're going to go in any case. But I want to go this way first. We'll go to that bridge just now, but I want to show you up here. Okay.
They're all dead. Yes, they're all dead. Ayako is the last one living. But is she still really alive?
Okay, so those 2 little brats, they piss off. Something must have jumped into the pond, but it's too dark to tell. And off they go. Off they trottle. Now the thing is, I didn't actually initiate that cutscene. I wanted to hear the song fully because they do sing different verses in-game as opposed to what they sing in the main menu screen. But yeah. Those 2 little fucks are always doing like a sort of swaying motion, clapping when they're singing that song. And yeah, anyways. Lady Fujiwara memorandum. Note addressed to Lady Fujiwara. Bloody hell, I can't read, bro. What the hell's going on? Milady, I have placed the remaining wooden discs in the manor's small shrine and in the altar. Don't worry about the 2 spikes. I have entrusted them to Miss Ayako and to the seer, who's here inspecting the manor. The 2 of us are going to hide in the garden. Please take care of yourself. Now, The front door is sealed tightly. There must be another entrance somewhere. Okay, so we can't go there just yet. Don't go to the left just yet because there's a Gaki standing there. I mean, you can kill him right now, but we're not going to go there just yet. Okay. So, there are names that I mentioned, like Ayako and Lady Fujiwara. Don't bother to remember those names. They are not important to remember at all. Okay. It's just sort of points for the story. Alright, so we need to go across this bridge. So let's go. Again, that's another thing that scared the absolute shit out of me when I first played this game. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. Okay. So here is here are our first cards to pick up. A card, Slick with Blood, is lying here. So spell card, Hibari. Fiery arrows piercing an enemy. Okay. These are like a basic attack card. Now, this is one aspect that's different from normal difficulty. Okay. When you play this game on Nightmare, you find significantly less cards than you would playing through the game on normal or easy difficulty. Alright? And let me tell you something. You find a shitload less. Okay? As like, even just compared to how many you'd find in normal difficulty. Okay? It's sort of laughable how little you find. Okay? Like, I found 9 here. I think the first time I played this game on easy difficulty was... Okay, I say first time I played through the game, but I'll speak about that in a few minutes. Just let me get through this explanation first, okay? So the first time I played this, when I picked up this card, I think I had about 20 or 30, okay? Here, I only have 9. So yeah, there are significantly less cards this time around when you play Nightmare. Alright? You also go down in a lot fewer hits. I think in like 3 hits you will die. Also depending on the kind of enemy you're fighting. But yeah. And also, so those are really the only differences. It's you find less cards. There are more enemies, I think. You go down in less hits. I think vertigo is a thing that you encounter a lot more as well. And also... I think maybe enemies go down in more hits. And also some things don't work. And what I mean by that is you will find a door that has a mechanism attached to it, and you need to get to the door by activating the mechanism, which will be active. But on Nightmare here, it won't be active, and you can never ever activate it or interact with it or do anything with it. Okay, and some other things that you find on the easy difficulties won't be here on Nightmare mode. Alright, there are a few things that you find in the easy difficulties that you will not find anywhere here. Okay, trust me. And I think, to be honest, those are the only differences. But I don't completely know, because I haven't played this game on anything hard, easier than Nightmare. Basically, I played the first 20 minutes of this game, 17 minutes of this game on Insomnia. And then my other playthroughs have all just been on Nightmare difficulty. Okay, so I don't know for sure. But this is just what I've discovered. Okay. So there's another area where you can save the game. So I'll just save the game quickly. Perform cleansing ritual. Yep. So memory card slot 2. Oh yeah. So I don't have my first memory card in at the moment. So I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah. Okay. So save slot 1. Can I? Cool. There we go. Game saved. And as you can see, you can actually you can see the boat floating down the river. It's quite cool, actually, I think. And something is banging against something. We'll get to that in a minute. Air is drifting out from the shrine. Could there be an opening space inside it? Alright, so we need to interact with this thing, but not just yet. We don't have anything. So item. Yeah, as you can see, we only have one wooden disc and one metal spike. We need three wooden discs and 3 metal spikes. Okay. So far we don't have any of those. For now, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna show you something. I'm gonna go and kill that Gaki. Also, this is pretty creepy. Look at this. The shadow over here will follow you. Well, these shadows will follow you. It's pretty creepy in my opinion. So there's a Gaki over there. So it's gonna attack us. I hate this. Okay. Get off me. The fuck? Bloody hell. You know, in all my playthroughs, that is something that's never happened, where a Gaki has tackled me to the floor. It's never happened before, ever. That's very interesting. As you can see, he's still twitching. And he didn't drop anything. That's fucking awesome. That's great. Usually, the Gakis or the enemies will drop things once you've killed them. So Seal of Venus has been placed on the door. Okay, so we need a bloodstained cloth Venus to be able to unlock here, okay? So, I just wanted to kill him to show you what's there, okay? So for now, we need to go back through this gate over here. Alright, I'm not going to interact with the water just yet, because as you can see, the body that was over here has been dragged into the thing. And there's something that I want to show you guys, but I can only do it a bit later on when I feel safer, when I have a bit more weapons in my arsenal. So we'll have to wait. Alright, so run over here and we'll get a cutscene.
Ideo.
Are you all right?
Oh, yes, I think so. Thank you. I am Utsuki. I live in the shrine, not far from here.
I'm Sakuya. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for my father. He's the elder priest of the shrine. My sister and I came from the mountain, but I lost her.
It's not safe to be alone here. I wish I could help you find your sister, but... Here, take this. It will help you.
Huh? Wait, it looks similar to the one Father uses.
Your father is the priest, correct?
Here, take this. My father gave this to me. You may find it useful.
Thank you. Please, be careful.
I will. And thank you. Take care.
Alright, so spell card here, buddy. We got another 9. Okay. And we got a summon card, Stegumo. Okay. Arachnid type creature with slow movement. I never ever use these things. Ever. Okay. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, on the easy difficulty, or easier difficulties, when Sakuya gives you these items, I think you get a lot more, but I think you also get the summon card for that dog she was using as well. And we got a summon card, Fudobaku, living magical area paralyzing demons. Cool, and we got 4 of those. I never use that as well. Oh yeah, here we go, sorry. This is what you get. Except, of course, you get a lot less. You only get 2 over here. Summon card, Saiga, wolf that fiercely protects his master. I don't use this thing ever, okay? It's not necessary. Unless you're really getting desperate and you're running out of things, I never ever use this. Okay, there's no real boss fights, you could say, and I've never ever been in a situation where I've needed to use this spell card. Okay, cards can be equipped from the main menu. Cards can be used at any time. Press select to view the main menu. So like I said, equipment. What I'll do for now is just equip Hibari. Okay. Yep. What I'll do for now. Alright. Okay, so we will go through these gates over here. And directly after this, there'll be a Gaki body. Mutilated Gaki lies here. It looks like one hell of a fight. Is the fight still going? Or is it over? You know?